Excellent. We are live to the world on Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning. So welcome. Today is really about small businesses. It's also to do with the Association of ISME, Irish Small to Medium-Sized Businesses and Association. We have a very special guest, two very special guests today. We've got Adam from ISME. We've also got Simon Haigh, and we're also obviously myself. So, Adam, would you just like to give us a little bit of an understanding of what you do? Just a quick synopsis, and then we'll go around to Simon and myself.
Sure. Well, thank you very much, guys, for inviting me onto this chat today. I'm Head of Learning and Development for the Irish SME Association. So I essentially, I suppose in a nutshell, my job is to try and keep Irish SMEs as competitive internationally and nationally as possible through a series of business events, whether it's business advisory or just straight training, sort of, improve sales, improve your marketing, that type of thing. So that's my role. Very, very wide role, very diverse, because we are multi-sector. So we deal with, from your small cafe owner through to a slightly larger insurance company to a tattoo parlorist, something like that. So it's very diverse and very, very interesting.
Thank you. So Simon, just a little bit about you, a little bit of synopsis, and
Yep. Yeah, I'll be brief. So basically, I have a coaching, consulting, mentoring, training business, and I help business leaders and organizations grow through 4 prisms, really: business growth, leadership growth, brand growth, and mindset growth. And I'm delighted with you, Jason. I've been working with ISME now for over a year on some really special programs, and we've had some great testimonials, and I know we're going to be talking about the one that's coming up. So it's a privilege to be working with ISME. And Adam, I have to say that the work you do, it's tireless, it's hard work, and these are challenging times, but I hear more and more people praising the work that you and ISME and Neil does. So I just wanted to say that live.
Thank you. No, it's you're right. It is. It's tough out there. It's difficult to keep your finger on the pulse of what people actually need right now. Last year, obviously, the mindsets were changing weekly because the government were providing new supports. I think there were 18 iterations of the wage support scheme. It kept changing, and it was difficult to understand for people. They were going, well, what am I giving my employees? Do I increase the subsidy? Do I do? It was quite confusing. So it was easy for us to put live Q&As out there to address those government supports and invite someone from department, maybe from revenue, to come in and navigate their way through the new iteration of the scheme. So those were very useful, and the engagement was high because there was obviously a massive demand there. This year we're in a very different situation. We got Brexit. We've got the pandemic still. That's when are the kids going back to school? We don't know. March the 5th, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, that's what's being said last night. So we're still not quite sure. They say there's a phased kids going back to school, but we don't know what that phase is looking like at the moment.
That's it. So it's constant disruption to business.
Yeah.
Jason, you were telling me just before we went live, you've been invaded several times by the kids. I've just had to run upstairs and say, get off the Wi-Fi, no unnecessary Wi-Fi use. It's disruptive. But I think from a business perspective, yes, we've got Brexit challenges. We've got a Brexit Q&A tomorrow. There are 120 people signed up to that. And we see extraordinary levels of where people are at with their business with regards to Brexit right now. And we're still getting questions that they should have addressed nearly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's not an SME's fault. That's an SME trying to survive. It's an SME running their business. They're in their business, but they're not thinking outside the business because they can't. They don't have that bandwidth.
That's right, Adam. And I think, because, we all work with SMEs and I, Jason and I are SMEs, and I'll ask Jason a little bit about what you do in a second, but when you're working in an SME, you're just heads down working on an SME, right? And the last thing you're thinking about is what the policymakers are thinking or doing, or the politicians are thinking of doing. So it's very, very hard. Like, I mean, I know a lot of, legal stuff and business stuff, but I wouldn't even really know where to find all this information. So what's the easiest or the best ways for those SMEs to get up to speed? The Brexit Q&A that ISME is doing sounds like ideal.
Yeah, we've got a very good panel of people in place. We've had a Brexit panel in place for the last 3 years. We took it out on the road very prolifically the year before, 2019, before we couldn't travel.
Yeah.
And we've been doing the online platforms on the Q&As last year. Taking it out on the road was it's great fun for starters. We get to meet lots of people, and they're very interesting people, and they're entrepreneurs, and we hear their frustrations, and we hear where they're winning, we hear where they're losing, and we try and adjust our services. Mine in particular, the learning side of things. You're hearing things that going, well, that'd be an interesting one. Perhaps we should do something on those lines. But yeah, so I've just sort of lost my train of thought there. But going out on the road was a brilliant way of engaging with SMEs and trying to understand what their frustrations are. And there's a multitude of frustrations out there. And because we're multi-sectoral, it's even more complex because different sectors have different problems.
And Adam, do you mind me asking you a question? Is obviously the deal wasn't done until last minute. So as far as I understand it, is a lot of SMEs and a lot of big businesses sort of just held off by doing anything. And now they're all panicking, same as the GDPR. When that came into play, now they're going, well, what do I need to do? So they sort of left it to the very last moment. Now they're looking for information. How do I buy and how do I sell to the UK? And what do I need to do? What's the best approach to this? Because there's a little bit of, I know it's all lastminute.com and we're all finding the information very last moment now. But what is the right form of attack?
Well, I think obviously we're just one business representative body. We're very lucky to have a large membership. We're always striving to be bigger, of course. We've got over 10,000 members. It's a very transient sort of model. People join us, people leave us, sometimes people join us just because they've got one problem. They join us because they can see that we'll provide a solution. And then once we've done that, they'll say, thanks very much, guys. I might renew next year, I might not, whatever. But we also have a very loyal cohort, quite a large cohort of businesses that follow us year in, year out, have been with us for 25 years since our inception. But for those members, we have landing pages on our website, which are specific to the issues that we currently face for the pandemic. And we also have a page dedicated to Brexit supports. And all the information is there and it's in one place. And that provides our members with clarity and an easy to navigate. It's only a couple of clicks through to what you need. It's not 16 clicks and then you lose where you were, where you start, or where you even started from. The idea is
we had someone saying Adam does a fantastic job. You're progressive and very forward thinking, which you are.
Yeah,
like we've known you for over the last 18 months, 2 years, and like we've had Simon and I have had to sort of think of different ideas and how we can pivot against the climates and the current climate and change the way we have to operate in line with how you think. So at the times that
I might just jump in there, Jason, because along the bottom you've got a ticker tape, and we'll talk about the entrepreneurial bootcamp we're going to do with ISME starting very soon. But for me, it's all about the mindset, the resilience of entrepreneurs right now. There are so many things coming at us, right? Mainly negative, challenging things right now. And you deal with this space. Maybe we didn't ask you a little bit about what you do, particularly around mindset and resilience and that sort of stuff, Jason.
Let me just play around with the screen while I do this. So yeah, I've been in sales and marketing for the last 25 years. So really now I focus in on sales relationships, how to build up better relationships with people. This time is absolutely imperative that we consistently keep in contact with our customers, seeing how they're getting on, understanding their challenges, and understanding our own mindset and our own personal challenges as well, and how we can sort of quickly adapt to what's going on. It's really to find out and listen to what's going on inside other people's shoes. Massive empathy, massive understand, massive listening, all of that. So this is the area that I'm currently in, because we all have to change all the time our approach because of the way the climate actually is. But I think now more so than anything, because of mental health and whatever else, people are suffering in a big way. I heard a radio advert the other day, is even the customer service people is to really understand what's going on inside their heads as well, because they're getting bombarded, but they've also had their kids flying around them like we all do, like I just did before this. So it's really sort of have a little bit of compassion all round from everyone, really. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah,
Yeah, just to say, just adding to that, Jason, when the pandemic hit us hard, sort of mid-March, and suddenly everything just collapsed, and everyone, we all had to stay at home, and we couldn't travel more than 2 kilometers away, and what have you. The piece of advice that stuck out most to me was, your customers have faded away temporarily. We didn't know for how long. But the piece of advice was, get on the phone and ring them and empathize with them. They're going through what you're going through as well. Stay in touch, and even if it's just hey, look, crikey, how you're managing, and you show that empathy, and it's a nice way of showing that you care about your customer. It shows that you're human. You're not just there to sell a product, oh, this guy's good for 10 grand every year for me. This guy actually is a nice person, and I think that was a really sound bit of advice that you gave. Almost a year ago now, isn't it? So it's and
that's something that you do as well, is to keep in contact with your members, which is highly important, and not only your members but your non-members. So it's something that you've been doing over the last year. You've been giving away sort of free workshops, allowing anyone to jump on to the workshops, because that's imperative for absolutely everyone.
Yeah, it was a total. Last year was a very different, from an engagement perspective, was very different from 2019. 2019 was annus horribilis for us. The engagement was very, very poor. We were about 35% down on 2018. Don't forget, 2018 was the GDPR that you mentioned, Jason. That was a regulatory compliance thing. That had a start date and an end date. That had the 25th of May 2018. Get your house in order. Okay. So no one had done anything by January 2018. And suddenly my phone's ringing going, well, what are you doing about it? So there was a compulsory engagement reason. Do you know what I mean? It was do this or you get a fine. Get your house in order or you get a fine. We didn't have that in 2019. We just had business events, and our engagement was about 30% down. And again, it's not an SME's fault. It's not the reason. They're not. It's not that they don't want to learn continuously. It's just that they couldn't during 2019. In 2019 was particularly economically for Ireland. Everyone was very busy and everyone was understaffed. We just didn't have the population to fill all the jobs. And then, 2020 came along, and we were turned up on our head. We actually, like a lot of SMEs ourselves, we're very slow at adopting digital. Well, the pandemic forced our arm to adopt everything digital. So now we're 100% online. I think it's great, but there's nothing like blended. I can't wait to have a little bit of classroom and a little bit of online and get that blend. I can't wait for that to come back, because business owners need to meet other business owners. It doesn't matter if they're from a different sector. The collaboration and the communications between them, their experiences of certain business situations, that classroom, that's where that all happens, and that at the moment is we can do it online. It's a little bit clunky, it's not as easy to do when you can just work a room. But the engagement last year was absolutely phenomenal. So to address the issues, we thought, well, we can put out our webinar series. And that webinar series was really to help people navigate through very, very difficult situation. Don't forget, we had navigated our way through a very long recession not so long ago, still fresh in our minds. So we traded through that. And so it was, you can do this again. Yes, this recession is forced upon us, but you traded through the last one. You can do it again. You need to just dig out that entrepreneurial toolkit and just blow the dust off it. And then, so these webinars that we did, and you guys did some for us, they were great. But they were very broad, but it gave people confidence and it gave people morale. It was morale boosting to get people to say, okay, I've got a business. Yeah, it's not working at the moment, but let's try and do something exciting in a very difficult situation. And what was really very evident was just that level of entrepreneurial mindset was out there. It was great. So, we, from a performance perspective, we smashed all our targets, against in the face of adversity. But what it did say was SMEs want to learn continuously, and they had the time to do it last year. They had time to do what they know they should have done in 2019. And so they were upskilling themselves, and we were trying to help them. It might be pivot the business. It might be looking at new markets. They might be 100% selling stuff to the UK. If the UK like it, why don't the French? Why don't the Austrians, the Hungarians, the Germans? Why can't we look at other markets? And we haven't looked at other markets because we've been too busy selling to the UK. Or there's the fear factor, like, well, I don't speak the language. Well, do you know what? You don't need to. You just need to learn a little bit about their cultures, learn how they do business, and we can provide that support as well. When you think that that's impossible, that culture, understanding how to do business with the French, there are people that we can provide that we know that will help you get a leg up into a French market. I'm just saying French, but it could be anything.
There was something in the news yesterday about that. There's a lot more parcels coming from Europe now, and they're probably diverting from the UK. So people are finding interesting, unique ways of getting business and going directly to the suppliers now, which is something that you have to do, I suppose. Sorry, Simon, you were just about to say something.
I was just going to say, Adam, you kind of described perfectly the process that we've got to framing this new 12-week boot camp, the entrepreneurial boot camp, because we've all realized as entrepreneurs that these are shaky times, they're uncertain times, but business will continue and has to continue, and so and that's why I think we're calling it the entrepreneurial boot camp. Is that on the other hand, we can't waste time here. We need to understand the Brexit rules. We need to, I think second session in our 12-week program is an open, honest. We're asking people to do a smart brainstorming. What are people's concerns and how best do you get informed? And I know that we've got at least one other expert who's joining us on this 12-week program. So really, this is about, as much as people are prepared to do, opening their hearts and their minds about the things that they're concerned about or they don't know. And then part of the program is through ISME is to actually literally provide the answers, not leave people guessing or worrying, but actually provide the answers. And
that's the toolkit.
That's what SMEs need. They need the answers, and then they go and execute.
Absolutely. They need that. You're bang on, Simon. Hand holding, I call it. It's like a contact sport. You have to get in and bring them with you. So the fact that you're providing the ebooks, the toolkits, just even the basic sort of template for starting to think your strategy, a basic thought process. This is where you start. This is where you should be in the middle, and this is where you should be at the end. And starting without that is far harder than having a sheet of paper with some very basic instructions to get your mind moving in the right direction to get your strategy really highly polished and fit for market. So,
and sometimes it's all overwhelming as well when you have a look at a blank sheet and everything, all the jigsaw pieces are moving all the time. It's going, well, what do I need to do? How do I need to sort of chunk the information down into bite-sized, learnable sizes that I can actually apply straight away, so it sits into their businesses right now, so they can pivot and then they can just move on with what's going to be happening over the next few months. So, and also we can brainstorm wonderful ideas about and shared best ideas, because there's lots of entrepreneurs in the room as well. So we don't know it all, but there's other experts in the room which share and grow the thoughts.
That's the collaboration side of things that's really important. That's you know, and Simon, you touched on the fact that we're also bringing in some experts onto some of the sessions to add weight to the sessions as well. So we're getting keynote experts, keynote speakers to come in on Brexit, for example. Session 2 is all about Brexit. We'll get Paul McMahon from McMahon Legal. He's been writing about Brexit for the last 4 years. He's a lawyer that's got his foot both in Irish camp and in the UK camp, so he knows both sides of the water. And I think he'll be very useful to do a 15-20 minute presentation and a Q&A at the end as well. Yeah, because everyone can then say, well, you know, I'm at this situation. What else do I need to do? So that'll help people navigate. And that's an hour and a half session. That's just one session. What they'll learn in an hour and a half is going to be extraordinary. You know, the other one's getting your pricing right, getting your negotiation right, getting all those business facets that we, you know, am I a good negotiator? We go into the negotiating table, you know, am I at the top of my game? Am I going to fluff this? Will I recognize when I should bite the arm off or walk away? You know, those sort of things that we live in fear of. But I think, you know, we were in a fortunate position last year that we could do these business advisory webinars. We can't do that this year because we don't have that strand of funding. That was an emergency fund. We don't have that this year. So we have funds to be able to make this type of training very affordable. But you know, it's not free, but it's not expensive either. You know, a 12-week program for less than €200, I think, is remarkable. You get
that works out about 17 euros per 90-minute session, which was sort of nothing really. So when you break it down to those granular levels, like what was that, 4 cups of coffee for 90 minutes?
Yeah. So I think I see this as an extension of that business advisory that we did last year that was so successful. It's a continuation of the 12-week program we ran in the last quarter last year, which was very popular. And what was really interesting there, and what I love to see, is when you've got 12 business owners or managers online on a platform like this, you know, and the first 1 or 2 sessions, everyone's a bit cagey. And then sessions sort of 4, 5, 6, everyone's good buddies. Email, they've linked in together. They're on Instagram together. They're twittering each other, and that's the collaboration that I love, because you've created this sort of virtual room of assistance to everybody. You know, support, help, aid, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm really looking forward to when we launch this one next week. I'm really looking forward to that camaraderie. I'm looking forward to the different pressure and pain points that people are experiencing, you know, and navigating through those for each other.
Yeah, and that's, for me, that's the most exciting thing. Is obviously Jason and I, you know, we provide the structure to these sessions, and we have these experts coming in, and there's also areas about, you know, powerful communication and presentation and social media. But for me, it's the interaction. It's when we go into the breakout rooms and the businesses are learning from each other. And you know, we've kept in touch with a number of people from the previous programs, and they all say that they learned so much from each other. You know, we provided the structure, so we're all developing this together. And at the end of the last 12-week program we did last year, it felt like we missed each other. You almost become like a little family together on the journey. So it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, no, it was really good to see.
So, Adam, how do you see the next few months going? So, if you can give one piece
you might
of
be able
advice,
to help me on that one, Jason. I thought you might be able to help me on that one.
Oh, well, I'd like to ask yourself, just to put you in a position of seniority and expertise there.
Yeah, it's difficult. I have to go back to what were our top sellers, last year, and they were the things that I, in previous years, had an aversion to doing, which were things like Excel for beginners. Now I chuckle because Excel for beginners, you can get a very good YouTube video on that. So, but I said, we're in a very strange situation. We're in very strange times. Let's do Excel for beginners. Let's take people on an Excel journey. So we'll do beginners on Monday, we'll do intermediates on Wednesday, and we'll do something slightly different on the Friday. And it might be pivots and charts, pie charts, that sort of thing. To show you how powerful Excel is. It flew off the shelf. We had over 100 people clamoring to do it. And in the end, we had to say, sorry, it's full, can't do it.
Wow.
So I see us doing business tools, Microsoft Office suite of products. Microsoft Teams is getting big now. If you use that, that's quite a pretty powerful tool, actually, if you know how to use it. I have to say I'm a bit of a Luddite on that one. I don't know it very well. Zoom, I'm a bit more au fait with. So, we'll do things like, productivity around using your laptop, your Office suite of tools that you've got to help you manage your day and achieve your goals, that sort of thing, because those do sell well. And I think people find those the most helpful. We'll certainly be doing those in certainly the first quarter of this year. What I'm looking for is to get a very good platform of engagement by doing that. But I don't see those as highly strategic. So what it would do is it will unclip our wings to a certain degree, having got that level of engagement, to do the important strategic stuff. The thing with the SME community is if you get too technical, complex, and highly strategic, the engagement falls away, because it's like, I put that in the too hard basket. So we've got to find that happy balance where it's this could be very valuable to me. So to use a simple analogy, so many SMEs don't have HR. They don't have an HR function, but someone wears the hat every so often during a working week. So the training that we would provide is HR for non-HR people. You're giving them the bare essentials of knowing what their responsibilities are to their staff, and as an HR representative of the business. So if you made it sort of for HR professionals, then you wouldn't have those people would not engage, because they're just like, look, I'm a light touch, on the HR front. But we do explain that the most important things that they need to do and address if they have that HR function in their business. Similarly with employment law, similarly with payroll. Another big seller of ours is the bookkeeping. That we've got a partnership with Big Red Cloud, and they've got an academy, and we're riding in on that, and that is really, really popular, because it's like bookkeeping 101, and that's what SMEs need. It's like, I just need some clarity. So, but if you get overly technical, then they'll say that's too hard for me. So
and that's the angle we'll be taking in this boot camp. Is yes, we'll give the background to social media and the different types, but we'll be talking about these are the core 10 things that you could do that have been proven to be successful with others. And the same with powerful presentations, and same with pricing, and the same with negotiation. So a bit of background, but then it's bang, bang, bang. These are the things that others have said have worked, and we can show they've worked. Give these a go. That's what SMEs, that's what I want. That's what I need as an SME.
Absolutely. But it only works when they work with us to make sure that they implement their own change, and they do and practice what we are giving them, some of the tools, but it's also the connections that they make, and understand how they can apply this, because it's worked for yourself, Simon. It's working for me. But you have to keep on working at it. It's not easy. but you just have to have that perseverance. If you're going in there and it's saying it's easy, forget it. It's not. It's really tough, but especially more tougher now. But it's channeling yourself through that noise and making yourself being heard in all of the elements that we have. I'm excited for the Brexit because I don't understand it all, but I think that will be an elevated lift for us all, so we can understand that within the program, and that's going to be really good. So, look, final words before we leave.
Adam, you go first.
anyone. Maybe I should say Adam, and then we go to Simon. Then we should close off.
Yeah, I was waiting to see who'd go first on that one. Okay, but thank you, Jason. Thanks for clarifying. It was me. Final words are keep if you haven't looked at the ISME.ie website and you have questions, business questions, go onto the website there. Very clear tabs at the top that will navigate you to your business problem and what supports we have there. My learning page is on there as well. We'll be doing more Q&As. We'll be doing, understanding government support policies and what have you. We'll be doing those Q&As. We'll be doing live HR and CEO Q&A. We're doing the Brexit one. There'll be others that will come out of the next phase of the pandemic. Those are very helpful. You can ask your questions prior to the Q&A. So all I have to do is facilitate them and ask them. So your questions will get answered. Those are very important.
There's a note on there from Neil. People will embrace change when they success.
I think it's
my eyesight, I can't actually read it. I need my glasses on.
Yeah. Neil's right.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. That's a perfect line. How about yourself, Simon?
Yeah, I mean, the kind of building on all of this is that, the key is really that, people need to understand the purpose of the business, right? What is the purpose of your business? Does that align with your passion? And then, you need to then plan to then perform as well as you can. And so there needs to be a bit of alignment of three things. There needs to be the drive, which we'll talk about, and the resilience. There needs to be strategy, and then there needs to be market opportunity. And those three things need to be aligned. And I think that's what we're going to aim for in this program, in no nonsense sound bites and clear advice. So that's really all I want to say. And it's been great chatting with you both.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all your precious time. I know times we have to get back to business, but if everyone joins on board this program that we have starting next on the 3rd of February, Wednesday, yep. It's going to be a really good, wonderful entrepreneurial journey from start to finish. And I know you'll love it because it is an eclectic array of different types of people from different backgrounds. So we thank you all for joining, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Simon. Take care now.
Bye. Bye, guys.